Hi, Nikita.
Hi, bitch.
I can't believe
We're
you're
in the
here
bed.
right
We're in the bed.
now. We are in a bedroom. We're in the PLT bedroom. What do you think about it? Are you happy with it?
Listen, I would expect nothing less for the very first PLT bedroom podcast, honey.
Exactly.
If you're listening in, let me just give you a full-on description, honey. We got pink cashmere silk infused bed sheets with unicorns on it, pink unicorn pillows. We're in PLT attire, unicorns on our tits. Oh my God, are we allowed to say bad words?
You can say whatever you like, Nikita.
No,
you
are you
can
kidding?
Do what you like.
Are you kidding?
Seriously, you can do it. We're not bleeping
wow.
out,
Okay.
We're doing it. We're
and
doing
we
it.
have pussy pink up in this bitch. So, girl, this is bad. I'm comfortable. I'm in casual clothes, and I'm here with you.
And we're pink. That's it. We're pink. Okay, so first of all, congratulations on Dragon Beauty.
Thank you.
What an incredible achievement. You are now a CEO of your own company and brand. How incredible. I want to talk about that a little bit later on, but first of all, I want to start with the beginning, kind of how you've got to where you are now.
Yeah.
So can you take me back to kind of where it all first started out for
Like
you?
way back.
Way back. As far back as you want to go.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was born in Belgium. I moved with my family, who's a military family, to Springfield, Virginia. And I was like not a military brat. So like we didn't have to move a lot. We only just stayed in one place. So Virginia is like very conservative, very white. And so me being mixed race from, my mom's side being Mexican and my dad being Vietnamese, it was just, I stuck out a little bit already. And I think that for the longest time, I was very like content because I came out pretty early on. Like, when I was growing up, at first I came out as like a gay boy when I was like, I would say like maybe like my sophomore year of high school. And then from there, I was like cool, comfortable. I mean, obviously I was very like on one. I was like the only boy cheerleader at the time, like on the football, on the cheer team. Yes.
I love that.
Like very competitively because like, I was really good at flipping and things. That was like a real sport.
So did you go like up in the air?
Yeah. Okay. So
I did that too.
That was the other thing too, because I was the first like quote unquote male flyer.
Really?
Yeah. Like at first I was like really small and I'm still small, but I'm just like, they used to lift me up as opposed to me them. So
I love that.
I know. So it was like a whole big ordeal. Of course, me always trying to like break barriers since like day one.
Yes.
So then when it became time to go off to university and college, I got a full ride scholarship at the time to go to do musical theater in New York. And that was kind of like my destiny. I was always performing. I was always in theater. I was always very like on one. And my whole goal has always been to be a pop star. So I think that, they're like, okay, how are you going to be a pop star? Like go be in theater. Like that's going to be your thing. So I was like, okay, whatever. So then I was just supposed to go off to New York and that was supposed to be the whole thing. And like, I made it out of the small town. Like that was like the biggest accomplishment, but something like deep down inside me just like told me like that was not right. Like, I think I was like already starting to like question my gender at that point.
Yeah.
So I just knew in my heart that like if I went off to the college that I would still have to be like boy number one or boy number, like it was very like, acting. So it's like you have to play a role. And that's why I was so good at acting because I was playing as a boy for 18 years of my life. So I ended up turning it down. Everyone thought it was a failure, literally, because it's like, you had this whole thing laid out for you. Like you made it out of the small town. Like, why are you going to throw that all away? And I just didn't feel it goes right in my heart. So I spent a year at home, community college. Do you have community college back?
No, I feel like, so obviously you guys call university college, so we call it university.
Yes.
So community college, I feel like we don't have that, do we?
Really? No?
Everyone's shaking their heads at me. Yeah, we don't have
Everyone's
it.
No, it's like it's kind of like when you basically stay. Community college is obviously when you like stay at home and like go to college, but it's like not some like fancy university. It's like like the
so you're kind of working at home.
Bottom line, like public school almost. Like you're not like going off to some like cool partying school or like anything. So I stayed at home for a year, tried to figure it out, and I got obsessed with like social media. And even to like the end of high school, I was already starting to like really dive into social media because like I grew up in the age of like YouTube. So like there was already like YouTube stars and like people like making a living, but like still secretively. Instagram came around while I was in high school. And so I remember just being so obsessed with the idea of like, wow, you can like post a photo and like you can gain followers and like you can use hashtags. Like when people still fucking do it nowadays when they post like all these damn hashtags and like all sorts of craziness. But like, yes, like for hashtag OOTD, hashtag fashion, hashtag women's fashion, hashtag lifestyle. Like I had them all memorized in order to get, and I was just so obsessed with the idea of like likes and branding and marketing and like how you could like gain followers was just like, not even in like a bad way of like, oh, I wanted to be popular, but I just was like, how are these, you know, internet stars like making a name for themselves? Because like it was so new. So I was really experimenting. I remember I got like my first like little PR package back in the day. Like a brand sent me like one piece of makeup and I was like freaking out. I remember a clothing company like sent me a t-shirt and I was like, oh my God, dying. Like, you know, it was just really new for me and I was just trying to figure it out. So I spent just that year trying to figure everything out. So I was also going out and that was like the first step for me. Like I got a fake ID and I was like, I knew that no one was going to believe that I was 21 as a boy because I've always been like really small, like very like feminine looking. Like even with my hair was like shaved and everything, like I would go into the boys' bathroom and people would be like, why are you in here? You know, like it just, everyone's always known, like even before I've known, like it's just like my aura and everything about me. So I got the ID to say Nicole and I was like, okay, it's gonna be like female. I was like Nicole and I was like, okay, that's the closest to like my name at the time. And so I would go out by myself. Yes, because I had no friends. So I would go out by myself and, you know, go into the clubs and I would be partying with like senators' kids and like governors' kids because I was right there like to like Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So it's like government.
Yeah.
And I just thought I was like, you know, I was living this whole fantasy life just trying to figure it out. But at the time I wasn't really identifying really as anything. And I think that by having that crazy year, I was like, wow, like this was the first time people were just treating me how I wanted to finally be treated, like looking at as like a woman. And so after kind of going through all that craziness, experimenting with social media and stuff, I was like, okay, like New York, I was supposed to have a life there. So like, let me move to the opposite side of the world, like of the US, at least like LA. Because even to like my whole game plan was like, okay, I'm gonna start off in New York and then I'm gonna end up in LA. And that was like my whole game plan. But I was like, okay, New York, like I just can't, because like I just can't do it. Like I was supposed to have a life there, but like it's almost like when you have like an ex-boyfriend, you like kind of close that chapter. You're like, no, that is like a done deal for me. So I closed that and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to LA. So I got accepted to a school out here, and it's like a more like a design school, like very specific to something. So I ended up coming out here for business and marketing, but in cosmetics. So my whole idea was to eventually one day work for a brand, like a makeup brand, like, you know, helping with like the formulas, helping with the shade, like helping with the marketing. Like I wanted to do like cosmetics, but on the business side.
Okay.
So, you know, I came out here by myself. You know, my parents just dropped me off in LA. I never visited before. I'd never been here and I just had to figure it out. I mean, I was on a scholarship from this school. So like that was kind of like my one thing, but like I wasn't getting money from my parents. Like I didn't have like money, you know, I think I like at the time I moved here, I had like $200.
Wow.
Yeah, like $200. And like the payment that I would get would only really pay for like my apartment that I was living in at the time with 4 roommates. So I was like sleeping in like a single bed. And this was like only 3 years ago, which is crazy. Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
3 years ago, I moved to LA as a boy and I had no social media and I had really nothing to my name. So in 3 years, I transitioned, I got my college degree and I got a career.
Oh my God. Like, can we just take a moment for that story? That's incredible. You've actually done so much. So when you first arrived in LA, what were you doing to sort of support yourself? You say you came in with $200.
Yeah.
How did you support yourself? Because, you know, it's LA.
It's LA. Yeah. There was plenty of times where I was just like eating ramen and like,
I love ramen.
And I do too. I was just like really like struggling it out. And I think that early on, I was like, I've always been like a hustler. Like I've always been like, you know, down to really just do what I needed to do. And that sounds obviously so bad. People are like, oh my God, were you like a sugar baby or something? Like I honestly wish. And it's funny because like I remember I started going to college and just everything was new to me. I was like, again, from a small town. So like the first trans person I ever met was like out here in LA. And I never even knew what really trans was because they didn't even like teach that in school.
Yeah.
And like all this time I was like, debating and like I heard about it, but I've never met anybody who had made the transition. So I was like, it was completely new to me. And like she kind of introduced me to the lifestyle and it was like a very like weird, dark time for me because it's like, imagine just being flooded with everything. So like when I moved here to LA, I started getting involved in like the partying scene and just like with other trans girls and stuff too. And like they had so much like they would like wake up at like 3 p.m. wear Louboutins, like their bodies were like big old boobs, like everything. And like, you know, and I in a sense, like would shock people to this day. But that's how they made a life for themselves. And I feel like for me, like I just wanted something different. So I was just like trying to do whatever, I like needed to. So I was like getting in school, trying to figure out about social media and trying to figure out like how I could like really make a life for myself without having to do all that.
And you've shared your journey so openly and honestly. And I think with that, you have inspired so many who watch you on YouTube and through your Instagram. But what inspired you and what made you want to share your journey so openly online?
I think I just started out like by just being so fed up. Like I just was so like over people not talking about things. Like at the time, like I just remember having to go on like blogs and like dark web pages like to find answers about like how do I transition or like what doctorates do I go to or like what surgeries do I need and all this stuff. And like I just wasn't finding any of the answers. Basically for me, like my whole thing was wanting to be just like open. Like I was just so sick of people not talking about everything, and it was just like frustrating for me. And I was like, okay, like if I can put these answers out, like at least the person following me who's maybe going through a similar situation is like not gonna have to face the same things. And so when I sat down for my first big video, which was like my I am transgender video, and that was the first time I had ever even spoken aloud to even myself. And like that was to me like, I don't know if you guys do it too, but like where you like write a letter to yourself and like, but you don't like, you mail it to yourself or something, or like you like type something out or like write it down in a book, but like, you just get it all out. So like for me, I just wanted to get it out. And I don't even know why, for some reason I thought it would be like a good idea to post it on YouTube, but I was like, oh, if I post it on YouTube, like, I'm gonna have to face it. Like, I can't run from it. So once I posted it, it ended up going viral. Like overnight. And so then that's how my mom found out. That's how everyone found out. Yeah, everyone.
So they didn't know?
No, they didn't know. And because it was the first time I had ever spoken aloud before.
Wow.
So it just kind of like pushed me to like really just have to face it. And so it was really scary. It was crazy. But at the same time, it was the first time I had ever seen the power of the internet, because the internet really like just exploded. And there were so many people around the world that were so thankful for like me just being honest, because they're like, maybe it was someone who's like, look, I have the same feelings as you that you've been talking about in the video. Or maybe it was like a parent who was like, oh wow, this helps me understand my son or daughter, because like they're kind of going through something similar, and this video like really helps me. So I think from that moment on, I was just like, okay, like I need to just be honest. And at the same time, I wanted to just document everything for myself. So from there, it turned into me talking about my hormone shots and like the effects that has. And like, from my body changing, my mental changing, like the way I literally think was changing. And like just me looking in the mirror was just like a whole different experience. And that was just from the hormones themselves. And then once it got to the physical changes of like me going into surgery for 8 hours and getting my face like, cut ear to ear, peeled down, like the whole works, nose broken, jaw shaven, like all this crazy stuff for my very first surgery. And that was like my first moment where like I literally pleaded to the doctor. I was like, this was before I was famous. And I was like, I'm like, before I was famous, before I had like followers.
You are famous, Nikita. Meaning
like I was like, before I was famous.
You can say
I'm so
it,
famous. But before I really had like a following, like I had gone to him basically being like, look, like I cannot pay $50,000 for my fucking face. But like, look, I'm going to make this video. And not only is it, selfishly was for me, but I just like really convinced him, because I've always been a hustler like that, of like being like, look, like this video I feel like is going to help a lot of people and it's going to answer a lot of questions. And at the time, like no one was really talking about surgeries. Like even in the trans space, whatever space, like no one was talking about it. So once I did that and finessed it and got everything done, I mean, I just put everything out there. So I've just always wanted to be like an open book so that people can have answers finally.
And you said before that first video that you made, your parents obviously didn't know. So how was their reaction to that video? Because that's quite an explosive way to find out, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know who even sent it to them too, like thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah, someone must have sent it to them. Like it must have been like my aunt or like uncle or someone or like a friend of a neighbor or something. But I was getting texts too, like from my friends, like literally no one. I mean, people suspected, but no one, like I just hadn't confirmed it. So, imagine me, like I ran off to LA by myself, and then all of a sudden like I come out with this crazy video, and it's like, what? Like what's going on? So I think their biggest thing was like they just were so concerned about like my health. Like they were just like, okay, look, like that's fine that this is the way you are, but like, you know, now, like, what if you go get like some black market surgeries, or
like you've got to be
what,
really
like
careful.
what are people gonna say? Like, are people gonna attack you? Like, you know, it's a really dark world, and it's like the parents just, I think their just ultimate thing was like them fearing for my safety. So like they really could, not that they could care less, but they just were like not so concerned about like, oh, this is who you are. Like they accept me for who I am.
That's amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great. But at the same time, you know, I think any kid growing up doesn't want their parents to really worry about them, you know. Like when your parents are kind of like overbearing in that way of like worrying about you, even out of love, it's kind of like, no, like I'm fine, like I'm good, like I don't, like,
I know what I'm doing.
Like I know what I'm doing, like, you know. It's especially in that stage of your life, like of me kind of going off on my own for the first time. I'm like, look, like I'm good, like I know I have this all figured out, you know. So I think that they were just trying to you know, make sure I was good. And it was, I mean, it's a transition for everyone, not only for just me. It's like them now having to like learn how to address me properly, and like them learning how they are supposed to speak to their coworkers or their friends too, you know. It's a weird kind of conversation that everyone has to have, but that's why hopefully, like, I feel like by me being so transparent online that it helps other people too. It helps
other people in the situation, definitely. And you've got 4.9 million Instagram followers, nearly at 5 million.
Almost 5. Listen, it is almost 5. It is almost 5. I'm gonna round up.
Before I ask the question, I mean, by the time this goes out, it could be on 5 already. So I'm not gonna lie.
Me crossing my fingers. I won't even tell you how close I am because I don't want to jinx it. Me looking at the back end, I'm like, very close.
We're getting so close. But I'm not gonna ask. Before I ask my next question, what are you gonna do when you hit 5 mil? Is there going to be some big video?
Nothing. I don't think so.
No celebration.
Should I?
I feel like you should.
Do you think I should?
I mean, every day on your page is a celebration. I'm not going to lie. So I feel like there'll be something anyway.
I know.
If it's not planned.
I'll probably end up doing something. But like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, to me, I think I've realized at this point, like, numbers really like don't matter.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, we've seen so often now, I think people are aware that at some point someone can have like 20 million followers and get like 1,000 likes, and we know some bitches like that bitch. Okay, I'm looking straight at the camera because we know some bitches like that. Okay. So I feel like, you know, numbers just like don't really matter anymore. I mean, it's cool. It's great. It's obviously an accomplishment for me. I think that when people look down upon it by being like, oh, like, why are you so obsessed with followers? It's an achievement. It's like, if you're at your job and you get like a raise, or you get an achievement of some kind at your,
it's a milestone.
It's a milestone. So it is exciting, and to see what I've done in such little time. And I truly feel at least that I've really utilize my platform to do something more than just be a hot thotty with, like, you know, some pictures and stuff. You know, I've done a lot of crazy things. So, you know, my biggest thing is like always trying to use my platform for something better.
So you've got the 4.9 million. We're going to say 5 million Instagram followers. We're just going to do 5, okay?
We're just going to say 5 for now.
So 5 million Instagram followers and 2.3 million YouTube subscribers.
Oh my God, yes.
That's a lot of people in one place, okay? That's so many people. How much of an impact do you think social media has had on your life and career?
Like, it's everything. It's everything down to my, like, last cell in my body. Like, I just think that, like, for some reason, like, yeah, it's cool that social media has power, and I think that I've become like a player in this space and everything, but at the same time, it's like, it just taught me so much. Like, it's taught me so much about just me as a person and others around me in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because I truly, in an essence, feel that like I've always been the same. Like, you can ask any of my hometown peoples, like, they will tell you, like, I've always been this extra. I've always been this crazy. I've always been this, like, out there. And, you know, it's crazy to kind of do the same thing on social media. Obviously, you know, I become more polished, you know, I take better pictures, better lighting, better angles, better contours, better things here and there. But at the same time, like, I truly in essence feel like I'm the same. So it's weird to somehow get this this weird celebrity, or like to get more followers, or like to have more recognition, when in essence you've always kind of been the same, you know. It's weird.
And I want to talk a little bit about like the pressures of social media. Okay, so something I love about you and we love about you like to talk about Facetune. I'm going to say Facetune.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Facetune is like a huge topic of Instagram, of social media.
If they say they don't Facetune, they are.
You recently called out James Charles for hurting the internet.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That video. Tell me about that video.
Wait, which one? There's so many.
It was on your feed. So was it
when I was making fun of him? Oh yeah. So him and I did a Facetune battle.
Yes.
And because both of us are very skilled at Facetune. Like I'm like like it's funny because like I think people like really think it's like a joke. Like I can do some fucking things in Facetune. Like
oh my god, I
will show you some of like my like archives because I have like before and afters. Like the things I could do in Facetune is like borderline scary, like borderline like a national security, like because I could really like do some crazy wild things. So him and I are both like really talented at using Facetune, and so we had this crazy battle. And you know, like my friends and I, like I'm just so I guess real, I guess is the good word to say. Like we're just chilling, and so you know, I'll make fun of him. I'll say like, oh, like, does anyone make fun of your ears? Or like, cause you know, he'll rag on me. Yeah, he'll rag on me too. He'll be like, girl, your ass is not that big in photos. And I'm like, yeah, but I make them, you know, like we're fun and we're cool. So,
but so the whole thing with Facetune, why do you think you are so open and transparent about it?
I think I'm just like real in the sense of like, it is what it is, you know, like I think that truly anyone thinking that like my waist is that small or like my ass is that, I mean, granted, I don't go crazy, but at the same time, like I think that to think that all these images online are real is like, you know, it's not the case. It's like one photo out of hundreds of photos that I take or like that someone takes, and then that's edited down and then edited even more and then edited even more. So I think just by being real about it, I think it's kind of like a joke. Like it's kind of like, you know what it is, and it's just
like everyone knows what it is.
Yeah, everyone knows what it is, and like to like try to make it anything more than that, or like to try to really like swear that like you're oh my god, I'm not doing Facetune or whatever, like, or haven't gotten. I mean, I guess it's in the same light of me and like surgeries. You know, it's like I'm like, girl, like it is what it is. Like, yes, okay, cool. But you know, no one's in my comments being like, oh my god, this is so edited, whatever.
Exactly, because you're saying it, and this is the whole thing. I think like it's with a social responsibility that I guess you must feel like you have.
Yes.
With your amount of followers, that you know there is young minds out there that look up to the likes of yourself, and I think it's really important that you're saying, yeah, this ain't all real, babes, but I mean, I look amazing.
I'm gonna look cute. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like a good like 80% of it, 90% sometimes on a really good day, like is real. But I mean, you know, you just have those little things that can be fixed and you fix them.
I just like how open and honest you are about it though, so I just had to say that.
Thank you.
Okay, now we've got to talk about a certain clapback.
Which one?
To a lingerie brand. I'm not going to name the name.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm just going to let you run with it.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Let's see if we're on the right track.
Well, that one was a situation where the owner, or not owner, he's the chief marketing officer, I think, CMO maybe, or like something of that nature, some higher up at a company, lingerie, very specific, with that have the same kind of angel wings that these damn Pegasus have on this fucking bed I'm sitting on right now.
Is that what they're called, Pegasus?
Yeah, right? With the wings in it.
Is that what a Pegasus is?
But I thought Pegasus have wings.
What's a Pegasus?
Audience?
Anyone?
I don't know.
You just taught me something and I love it.
I mean, I feel like a unicorn is only with the horn, but a Pegasus has the wings.
I feel like.
Because like Hercules rode in a Pegasus. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I mean, I like that. Okay, we got Pegasus.
Pegasus
on the bed. We're cool.
Anyways, so basically what had happened was that
let's just do this in an English accent. I don't
know if I can do it. I know I've done this. Like people ask. Okay, so basically, this guy, homie, at a company, a lingerie company, said that trans and plus size women cannot sell a fantasy. And so when he said that, you know, the internet obviously blew up in a firestorm, and everyone went crazy, and you know, people were just really upset because it's like, of course, this company has already been having these very specific kinds of bodies that really are not realistic for women, and has this very specific image that is, again, really not realistic for women. And so to, on top of that, now say that groups of women cannot basically like fit this mold and are not fit to even wear the stuff in a sense, is just like, damn, really? And on top of that, for it to be a group that I'm associated with, and just regardless, I just think that like I was just so upset, and I knew people were tweeting about it, and I know there was articles being made, but I just instead wanted to just show the world and show him that, you know, trans women can serve a fantasy and can sell a fantasy, if not the same as these bitches, but even better. So I gathered up a team And I think I did it in probably, I think like 72, is that 3 days is 72 hours, or am I being so dumb right now?
No, that's 72 hours, isn't
72
it?
hours,
I'm
right?
so
24, 48, 72. I think it's 72.
We're going to go with
In
that.
72 hours, I compiled a Victoria's
A what?
something with a VS lingerie moment commercial. I emulated their commercial, their top commercial, and I made it happen. It was no cheap feat, let me tell you that. Let me just say that. And it was all my own money.
Yeah.
The Airbnb I rented was almost $8,000 a night. $8,000 a night. Well, I'm not even sure. Well, go. Something very high. And that's a whole different topic. But regardless, I just wanted to show just that you could be whoever you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what body type you are, no matter what shape, size, color, polka dot, pink, yellow, alien, whatever. Like, you can sell whatever fantasy you can sell, and no one's going to tell you that you can't. So when I did it, I actually, I don't know. I mean, I knew it was going to be a big moment because I felt it in my gut, and I worked so hard on it. Like, I was there. We filmed it for crazy amounts of hours. It was freezing cold. Like, it was like the dead of winter. I remember it was like really, really cold, and like the doors had to be open. I was literally like down in lingerie. Like, it was not an easy thing to do. The wings were heavy. Like, it was just this whole debacle. Even right after I shot it, we all gathered together, and I sat there for hours editing it with the editing team. Normally, like, it's just the editing team, right? And like, you give it off to someone, but I'm like, I'm that crazy where like I need to be in the editing room.
It's your thing.
I need to be watching it, everything happen, and I need to, like, you know, it's an hour, and it's hours and hours of footage. So we got everything cut down. When I was ready to go live with it, it was actually supposed to be on the same day as the fashion show.
Oh my God.
I know, and that was like my ultimate plan, to have it drop on the same day as the fashion show.
Imagine.
But it just, the edit wasn't right. And actually, I'm so glad that I held back, because like, and even too, I thought I was going to like miss the like mark by like not having it on the same day. But when I held it back, got everything really like, you know, looked over, and then dropped it, it instantly went viral. And to this day, that's my most viral crazy moment I've ever had. And also too, it's just, it made such a movement. Like, it made such like a, even more than a conversation, like, it just made people like feel something, and it became something in a life of its own, I guess is the best way to explain it. And I think the biggest thing I want everyone to know is like, I'm never trying to be like, oh, I need to be a Victoria's Secret model. Like, look at me, like, hire me, Victoria's. Like, that was never the case. No. It was just to truly just prove that
the point.
I could, as a trans woman, sell the fantasy, and that anyone could sell the fantasy. So I think a lot of times people comment and be like, well, they can hire whoever they want and whatever. And I was like, you know what? That is true. Any company can hire whoever they want. And if they don't want to be inclusive, that's on them. But they're not going to say that, you know, these people aren't that, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to say that we cannot sell a fantasy or whatever. Like, that's when I got mad. So that was that whole moment.
I think we support that. Like, that message it's a strong message, and we all support that definitely here. So you're known for your extravagant videos. I saw you outside shooting one earlier.
Oh my God.
Let me say I'm obsessed.
It's all embarrassing, but thank you so much.
Not embarrassing at all. You killed it. It's Pride Month.
Yes.
Okay. Can we expect anything exciting?
Yes.
What are you doing? Any videos coming out?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, well, I'm not going to do like a large scale something crazy. I've told myself that like a Victoria something secret of whatever. One of those crazy videos is only going to happen like once a year maybe.
Okay.
So the high production ones are just too expensive. But, you know, I think I'm going to do some more like pussy stunting. That's what I call them. Like a little, you know, just letting everyone know that you're cute, serving some fashions, giving some hair,
I love
some
it.
fantasy.
So that's what a pussy stunt is. We're gonna clarify it right now.
Yeah. So a pussy stunt is a feeling. It's a verb. It's not a noun. It is a verb. It is the almost like, okay, imagine you just get your hair done, you get your nails, lashes, you're going out with the girls, you're walking through the club. You know how like all the boys, girls, I don't know, so everything in between are looking at you, but you're aware that they're looking at you, but like you're not looking back at them, and you're just like walking down, and you're like giving face, you know what I mean? Like, you're giving face, you're like amazing. Stunting, you're feeling yourself, you're getting all the energy from them, and you're like stunting, you're like walking and having a cute little time.
I absolutely love the pussy stunting.
It's good.
It's like the best thing
it's
ever.
So fun. I mean, I literally have it on my nails right now. Pussy stunt.
Oh my God, your nails are incredible. I've already told you that like 3 times, but you know I'm a big fan. Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about clickbait.
Yes.
So clickbait is a huge topic on the internet, especially with YouTube.
Absolutely.
And you've literally had a little bit of a bite back recently about
Yeah,
clickbait. So
no,
tell
I
me about
did.
your experiences with it and what your opinion is on it. Because it makes sense to someone that's in the industry why
Yes.
people use it. But so say your opinion. What's your opinion on it?
I feel like, okay, it's a weird topic, clickbait, because it's like if you expose, like if I'm a creator and I use clickbait, people get mad because I'm trolling the trolls. And that's always my idea. It's like, I know what people are going to literally click on.
Yeah.
So why not utilize that and, and not gain from it. I think that's like a bad word, but it's like, for instance, like media companies will write about me in the tabloids or whatever. And like they'll write so much crazy stuff about me. And even too, like there's a lot of like drama kind of videos out there online that use my name and that put something crazy in the title, and it's like no one ever rags on them. So whenever I kind of do it, and it's not too far off, like it's really like never anything crazy, but it's true. It's literally, it's down to it, it's literally a title. It's a title. It's not that I'm like me, riding a dolphin down on a rainbow. Like it's really not like some far-fetched something, but it's something that really grabs your attention, and then you click on it and you're there.
There you go.
So I think for me, I use it because I'm like, look, like I'm gonna troll the trolls because I know sometimes people are seeking drama. They're seeking tea. They're seeking like, these crazy wild moments. And I'm like, I'm not gonna give it to them. And instead of them, wanting to come and hate on me or whatever, like I'm gonna utilize them to get a damn view. Because at the end of the day, like, honey, I need that check for this wig, girl. Look at this. I mean, this one's on a wig today, but
That's not a wig.
I have one extension in here.
Hold on,
you
don't need to admit that. I mean, your hair just looks amazing.
Thank you. No, thank you. My hair is actually really long. My real hair is like.
I'm obsessed with it.
This is all me. No, I have even a longer one.
I've already told you, like, I'm obsessed with the crimping when you came in.
Me. Come on,
girl,
she's got inches,
girl.
Bitch.
She's got them. And okay, so being so huge on social media kind of opens you to a lot of opinions.
Yes.
And they can be good, but they can also be bad. So how do you handle this, and how have you handled it in the past?
I think now I just try to be like ahead of it in the sense of like trying to beat people to the joke. I mean, we're kind of talking about that earlier about me even talking about Facetune, me even talking about like my surgeries or my bad spray tans or my crazy like, clickbait or whatever. I just try to just take light in it. I mean, it's hard in this kind of like age to take any of the comments or whatever and mean stuff like in a joking way, but I think to me I'm always honest and I know who I am as a person, and I think that it's really hard to do, but once you kind of like realize that, like no one's really gonna affect you in that way. So I mean, for me, I'm like, if I survived high school, I can literally survive anything. So all these comments or all these people saying stuff, it's hard. And I think actually the hardest thing is when people have an idea or like maybe have an idea about your life or something. They're like, oh no, like this is the case, and they have an opinion on something that is so untrue. It's like so hard to bite your tongue sometimes and not just like tell them like what it really is or like what is really going on.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's really not worth it. I mean, that's not to say I don't clap back, because I definitely have clap back moments, but it's hard. I mean, it's a difficult thing that even I struggle with, because sometimes there are days when I look at a comment, I'm just like, ugh. But then there's days when I look at it, I'm like, fuck you.
That's the way you've got to be, babe. That's the way you've got to be. And your lifestyle just looks absolutely wild. It looks crazy. It looks so much fun.
Yeah.
Explain to me, what is a day in the life like of Nikita Dragon?
I mean, it depends. Like, I think a lot of people have this idea that like every single day of my life is like on one.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. I have my moments. I mean, I definitely have moments where like a whole week, like every single day is like something. But there's definitely like so many days where like I mean, earlier today I was like my hair in a bun. Like all this weekend, I literally was in a giant t-shirt, no makeup, like my spray tan being all crazy, like my, my face not matching my body, zits everywhere, zit creams and whatever. And, I have, really, really chill moments where I'm just chilling at home. But when I do go out, of course, I'm going to pussy set. I'm going to be on one. I'm going to be in a cute ass outfit, wig, like a whole moment. So I don't know. I think like every day is something different with me. And I think I just really like to have fun. Like I like to live in the moment in the sense where I don't like to have a regret. So like if I want to go up and talk to that person, or if I want to like do this, or if I want to do that, I'm gonna do it. Like nothing's gonna hold me back. And I'm gonna look really fucking cute while doing it. I'm gonna be in a cute ass outfit, like in a cute wig or something, and I'm just gonna do it. So yeah.
Okay. And how do you sort of handle the fame? Because I think it's safe to say you're famous. You're a very big,
so famous,
so famous,
so fucking famous. Like, hey, so famous.
No, but you are.
It's weird to say. I'm like, oh my God, I'm
That's
so
it.
famous.
I know it's so weird for you, like for you to say, but you are. So how do you handle it? Because I can't believe you said to me before, like it was 3 years.
Yeah.
Since moving to LA and basically becoming Nikita Dragun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's crazy. Like, how have you handled this new lifestyle?
I mean, it's a little weird, to be honest. I think that like, especially in public settings, it's like crazy to be like approached and like, you know, even in a bathroom or like under the stall, like, you know, when I'm out drinking and being crazy and, you know, the people are asking for, you know, it's a really crazy thing that goes on. But I think, and it's hard to have people in a sense like watching you and like having opinions about different things in different parts of your life. So I think it's crazy. Like, I mean, that's just the easiest way to put it. I think that I'm aware about like what people see. So I think in an essence, I'm good about like kind of navigating and like kind of having people look at something that I want them to look at. And then over here, I'm like actually doing something completely different. So especially in terms of like relationships or just like real connections that I have with people, friendships or whatever, like there's so many times where like I kind of unplug and like a lot of times like people just don't see a lot. So I think in that sense, I'm like aware. So I think I'm like able to navigate through it, but it's cool. I mean, who doesn't want to be famous? Like who doesn't want to, you know, have this cool lifestyle? I mean, obviously it has its perks, but it has its like struggles, but you just kind of have to like see the good in everything. And I think that, you know, it's weird. I've always like felt that I was destined for this. I mean,
feel like you
you can ask anyone from like I said, from little old Springfield, Virginia. I've always been like, oh, I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be famous. Like, I just feel like some things you're just like,
it's just your energy.
Yeah.
Now you spoke about relationships there, so I want to talk about.
Go ahead, girl.
I want to talk about relationships in the industry first of all.
Okay.
So.
Are you talking about friendships or are we talking like real relationships?
We're talking relationships all over. So friendships, relationships, we're just going to go there.
Okay.
So relationships in the industry, who would you say are your closest friends that maybe YouTube or Instagram or just this lifestyle has brought you?
Well, Gabby is my friend. Him and I became friends prior. A lot of anyone who's like really close to me, we became friends before everything popped off. Wow. So like Gabby, who's like a huge part of my life. Bretman, who's like obviously like my fucking twin. Like him and I are like weird because like we're like siblings. Like we're like literal like actual soulmates. Like weird. Like I love like a cell that like split into two. Like weird, like weird between him and I. But him and I again became friends. Like he actually was a fan of me hard enough to believe when I was living back in Virginia, like when I was experimenting with social media. Like he had found me way back when, and like it's crazy to think about that. Obviously James is like a really close friend of mine. God, I feel like I'm like missing people like right now, but like I have like I don't know, like I have so many friends. Well, no, okay, no, that's not true. I have so many friends. No, but I'm saying I have a lot of cool people that are like around me in my life, but like people who I call like genuinely like my friends and like they're in my life are just like, you know, people I see like every day. But like even too, like I have such a great team around me that like the cameras really don't see, you know, that like are just so involved in my life that like you know, I wouldn't want to put them on in that way because like my relationships aren't even like that, you know. But like in terms of like public figures that people would know, obviously those are people. Like anyone who's like on my Instagram are like actually my friends.
They're your friends.
Yeah.
Okay. And relationships. Let's just go there. So I feel like you don't talk too much about it online.
I don't.
So let's just talk about it. This is your chance.
You know what's so funny? I've actually never been technically in a real relationship. I've had my moments, and I think that like recently I've like had to learn, and it's like, oh God, it sucks. Because for me, imagine like I never had that high school love because I wasn't Nikita. I haven't had a college love because I wasn't Nikita. Like I didn't go to prom and have my first kiss. Like it's been 3 years of me being Nikita. And so for me, it's been really hard because like, it's just like all those things that I feel like girls figure out in their preteens and like whatever, like I've never just experienced. So to experience it now in the public eye is really, really difficult. And especially too, like my biggest thing is like people wanting it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So me having this fame and me having this, you know, followers and clout or whatever, like there truly are like clout chasers out there. There's truly people who want to come into your life, maybe not even just because of that, but like because of your energy. Like there are people like who truly like, and I never even thought about this, who just like your energy so much that they want to like feed off of it and like almost drain you. And that sounds so scary and like so like extra to even say, but like it's just something that recently I've like had to discover. So like relationships that, or like people in my life that came in for the wrong reasons, it's like really, really hard to like especially kind of go through all that online. So I think for me it's always just been a learning thing. Like I've tried to learn and I've tried to learn, but for me, I've always wanted someone who just obviously unconditionally like is just down for me. Like I don't want to have to like be on the DL. I don't want to have to be like, you know, some hidden like side piece that like, yeah, you're married, but you have me on the, you know, like I would never wanted
You're
that
not
life.
made to be a side piece, babe.
Yeah,
not
you know, I'm like, I'm like, bitch, I want someone who's like, yeah, like that's my fucking girl, you know? So like, I think early on I was down to settle for a lot more than I am now. Like girl, early on I was down for like the booty call. Like I mean, but I think all girls kind of
goes through like
through that phase, right?
Definitely.
You kind of have like a just an experimenting phase and like figuring everything out. But I feel like especially now it's like really hard for me because I've just had to learn how to protect my energy at all costs. And that's to everyone. Like everyone needs to learn how to protect their energy because like there truly are people out here who are really trying to come at you from all the wrong angles, all the wrong ways, trying to climb. Bitches will do anything for clout, like fucking Cardi say. They do anything for clout. They do anything for clout. I know. So relationships are hard, but I've learned, and it sounds so like superficial to even say, but for me, truly, for a good stage in my life, I didn't. Oh my God, but I'm gonna say it.
Say it, do it.
I just didn't think that like everyone went through the same struggles, you know? It's so annoying to me because like for truly a long time I just felt like I was in this bubble of LA, and like, you know, everyone's on social media, everyone's famous, everyone has like even more followers than I have, like likes, money, power. Like these are the same struggles that everyday people, like from people that are like in the middle of like Virginia, like back where I'm from, you know, people in Texas, people like all around, people in the UK, you know, like people always have that like these same struggles, like whether it's a snake in the grass, whether it's like some crazy boyfriend or whatever who's trying to run some motherfucking games. People really deal with this on the fucking daily, you know? And it's just, I finally realized that. I'm like, wow, like, you know, we're all going through our own struggles, and especially relationships are so testy that's why I hate talking about them. It's weird. Like I love talking about them, but I don't like publicly like
talking about them.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, anytime I have kind of gotten into something that was a little bit public, it's just gotten crazy. Like it has gotten so fucking crazy. And I've like learned from my friends too, like who have been in like public relationships or whatever, like it is wild. Like wild.
Well, so there's no relationship now that we can talk about?
No.
Nothing now?
No.
Okay.
It's crazy.
So we just look up.
Yeah.
We just keep an eye on you for the future.
We keep looking up. I mean, I just recently kind of like ended like a kind of fling situation. Yeah.
So boy bye.
It was a boy bye moment.
Boy
of
bye.
course it like went down over Coachella. Like everything happens at Coachella.
I mean, we could sit and talk about Coachella for hours.
Literally hours.
I'm literally going to move over to Dragon Beauty in a second, in a real quick sec. But before we do, I've got a big question for you.
Go.
So if this podcast on the relationships, so we're going back to the relationships in the industry. So if this podcast is your chance to say your piece on the whole James Charles situation, what would you say?
I would fucking say... Let's get back to the fucking makeup, bitch. I'm over all this drama. The only shade throwing that I want to see is on your cut crease, honey. That's a fact. And I you know what? I think that, you know, like I said, everyone's going through their own struggles, and this is the same sense as relationships. Like when you put things out there, it gets muddled, it gets crazy, and when you address things online, it gets wild. It really, really does. And there's so many things that I personally have experienced over these 3 years, relationships, friendships, whatever, like that haven't necessarily always ended on the best note, but you wouldn't see me like online, you know? So I just think that like it sucks to see so many people affected by it.
Yeah.
And also on the flip side of it, you know, when someone gets attacked or whatever, it's really scary to see.
Yeah.
You know, people go to really dark places, and I think that it's just not necessary in this day and age. So I think that moving forward with everyone on all social media, on all platforms, honey, in whatever community, gaming, whatever, like we all just need to be nicer, you know? Like it's just, it's really not that serious. And especially in the beauty world, I mean, like, girl, like we're literally wearing makeup. Like it's really not that big of a deal, like at all. Okay. But it can be crazy. So,
well, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now let's go on to your baby. Let's talk about Dragon Beauty. I feel like we've got someone in the room. Come on, can we bring it in?
Hold up, babe.
So for everyone listening, Nikita has just
reached under the bed to grab my dragon egg.
I actually feel like, can I
Girl,
hold
you're
it?
getting one.
No,
yes, you
don't.
are.
I feel like I'm going to cry. No, I'm actually dying.
Egg. You are getting a dragon egg.
Like, I'm not even being over dramatic. Like, I'm nearly shaking.
No.
Over this. Like, I have seen these on YouTube, on your Instagram. I thought, I nearly swore big then. I'm obsessed. Can you tell me everything about Dragon Beauty?
Okay, pop it open, girl.
Oh my God, how do I open it? My hands are so clammy because I'm excited.
Yes. It just pops open like that.
Wait, hold on. Do we do like a YouTube moment here? You take one side. Okay, I'm going to take the other. Welcoming Dragon Beauty.
Dragon Beauty.
Which you all know what it is, okay? Okay, so tell me about Dragon Beauty. So how did it all begin? What was the inspiration? You know, I want to know everything.
Well, I started developing Dragon Beauty probably like a year ago. Maybe it's probably been way more than that. But I, at the time, have been so approached by like every makeup brand under the sun, because it's like we see all these great collaborations, and like all my friends have done amazing collaborations with brands. And, you know, obviously I've been approached by them to do the same thing. And I feel like for me, what I've always wanted was something, if it's going to have my name on it, like if it says Nikita fucking Dragon on it, bitch, no, Nikita Dragon made it. So I just felt like a lot of times I didn't have full creative control, or just like really like it just didn't feel right. And I just really wanted it to be my own, you know? I just didn't want to slap my name onto something and just like put it out for the sakes of making money. That's just not my vibe, at least. So I put my big girl panties on, and I decided that I was going to do this. I was going to build my own brand. I was going to become a CEO and have this company, which is so wild to me. It's like crazy. And I've always had this clear vision of I wanted it in this dragon egg, and I wanted these products. And everyone thought I was crazy, even too. Like, imagine me going to like, you know, the product development and trying to go through this phase of like trying to build a damn dragon egg. Like, people were like, what are you talking about? Like, how are you going to do this? Like, I want scales on it. Like, it's been like such a crazy road and process. But ultimately, the whole message behind it is I wanted to be a trans-owned brand, which found out was the first trans-owned beauty brand.
I think we should just like literally in the room.
Oh my God,
that's fucking amazing. I'm saying the F word. Like, that is fucking unreal.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So
congratulations.
Trans-owned brand for trans people and just for all people. I think that you know, being a trans business owner is like a big deal, but at the same time, I wanted to create something that I would have wanted, like we were talking about earlier in this damn podcast, honey, 3 years ago when I was sitting back home in Springfield, Virginia, to get this egg and to be able to transform myself, because I think that makeup for me has always been a transformation type thing, and I've always used it as a tool to transform me into the woman I've always wanted to be. So I wanted to offer that to everyone. So I created these products, which to me are like not really out there in the industry. Like, they haven't been, you know, catered towards, and I made this damn dragon egg, and it's been crazy. It's been literally insane. Like, it's wild, and it's so exciting to see the growth of my brand, to see how hard, you know, even I'm like proud of myself for like how hard I work, because like I thought I could never do this, to be honest. But also too, like my team, you know, there's a lot of people behind this who like really have made this all come true, and it's truly like obviously a dream come true. So it's crazy.
I'm obsessed.
Thank you.
Do you know what I find really interesting? You said to me at the beginning of this podcast, and I think I'd read it actually in a Forbes article, about when you were in college and you were studying cosmetic marketing.
Yes.
You've gone from studying cosmetic marketing to becoming Nikita Dragon, to being this huge influencer, to this celebrity, and then doing what everyone was talking about on cosmetic marketing. Like that, wow. It's like you knew back then that you were going to do it. Like, I think that's incredible.
No, thank you.
So
No, I mean, it's it's a big deal.
I'm getting emotional.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy too because even while I was in school, it was very Hannah Montana. So like I was an influencer at the time.
Tell me
kind
this.
of. So like people. So by doing obviously marketing and business for companies, like what we would do in school, for instance, like we would work for a brand. Imagine it's, not real. Like for our group projects and things, we'd work for a brand and have to do like a lot of crazy things like statistics, like bank rolls for them, like SKUs and like, marketing and like really, really hard business stuff for cosmetic brands, like real life shit.
Yeah.
And it was funny because a lot of the time we would have to, do influencer marketing or have to, use influencers. So sometimes they would do presentations on me or my friends and have no idea that I was sitting in class because it was just like that much of a transformation between me, like, Nikita and Dragon, whatever. And even too, sometimes my name wasn't legally changed at the time in school. Right. So like, it was just even more of like a crazy thing. And then later on, everyone found out because I never was like, oh, I'm Nikita Dragon. Never, not one day of school.
So no one knew.
No one knew. And it finally kind of came out like probably I would say like my last year of college. And then everyone, thought I was stuck up, because that's the thing. I never wanted everyone to think I like had an advantage or anything. Yeah. It's like, yeah, cool. I'm like at these crazy events or like doing all this stuff. But like, I never wanted anyone to think different of me. So like at the time, like a lot of people almost like, have you seen like Legally Blonde?
Yes.
So like imagine like all the like smarty pants, like, like, oh, we're like so gonna be so successful. Like, oh, I'm interning for XYZ and doing all this stuff. And then there's me and like they just thought I was like that dumb bitch. And so I just like I really wanted to prove to them, not even to them, but like to myself. Yeah. That I could, first of all, graduate, which I ended up doing. Because at one point I was considering like dropping out just in the sense of like, I was doing all this influencer stuff and I had schoolwork on, like I had to turn down trips to like Bora Bora, like with, like I had all such crazy stuff like happening. And I'm like, no, I'm going to finish school. I'm going to do this. And it was so hard and I ended up doing it. But now it's great that I ended up doing it because it's all helped me in doing all of this. Like it's truly something that I think a lot of people don't really know about me. I haven't like really talked about it in that way. I know people know I went to school, but like, no one really knew it. Like I kind of have been doing this.
I'm so glad you shared it with us because I think people would be really interested to know that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the products. We've got them in front of us. Tell me a little bit about them.
So this is my baby on this side. So it's basically a transformation kit. So I offered different products in the makeup routine that I felt like were lacking for people. So for me, I've always color corrected, and color correcting is something that's like crazy and foreign to people because it's like addressing the actual skin undertones and then applying foundation. So with this, it's like a bright orange corrector. So it's literally like imagine like a bright orange, like a concealer almost, like that has like a very orange pigment to it. And basically the gray, purple, blue undertones to your skin. So if you ever have like darkness under the eyes, which I have all the time because I'm like never sleeping, or for me especially, I have like really bad 5 o'clock shadow. From like the beard area, I guess you could say, or like sideburns or like acne marks or hickeys or bruises, like that dark undertone to the skin that a lot of people will just mask on with foundation on concealer. But I mean, I don't know about you, but like even with me, like if I don't color correct, like I'll put on so much concealer and I'll see like the under eye bags coming out like later on in the day. So if you don't address it first,
so that helps with bags.
It will literally change your life.
Let me admit, like I don't color correct, and I get such bad bags.
It's
you can probably see it now, like girl.
Like I mean, we can make it just a little something. So it's kind of like it's like almost like a secret. Like and for me, obviously, it was about wanting to cover up my 5 o'clock shadow, and it's something that like trans people kind of go through. And it's literally just like the tiniest little dab. You blend it out. It's a little scary. It's like, oh my god, why is there orange on my face? But then you apply your foundation and stuff, and then literally you look like a blank canvas. You look like you got like 20 hours of sleep. Like yes, it will, like it just makes you look alive. It's just the best way to describe it. And so that goes on like probably like moisturizer, primer, you do like a little color correcting somewhere in there, and then you apply your foundation and everything. So it's kind of like the primer to the primer. It's like the beginning step. And then this bad boy over here are my transformation powders. So I'm obsessed with the idea of femininity, and I've always been obsessed with the difference between like the male and the female face. And so it really is all about how the light hits the face is what makes it like feminine or not. So for me, I wanted to make these powders basically, in a sense, able to like do the same thing I've always done in Facetune and like, you know, fix some things and like made some things better and smooth some things out. So I wanted to really like make these crazy ass powders that I don't really think that anyone was making. So I made 2 powders in here. It's like a light pink and a light yellow. One's like just more intense than the other. I like to mix them between the two just to like, you know, whatever. But it essentially gives you this like soft focus filter on your face, like in real life. Like I apply it underneath my eyes, the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose a little, like chin, but especially underneath the eyes is what does it. It basically looks like you're like lit from the inside. Like it it's not a highlighter, it's not like shimmery, it's not like anything. It's just this matte powder that is so transformative. It just makes your face like lifted and alive and awake and just like so much cuntier and pussy style, like all these words that I shouldn't probably be saying, but it's just how I like
you
snatch.
Can say what you want.
It's like it's this really like snatch kind of powder, and I just, especially in photo photography, like flash photography, it looks stunning. It's not like a flashback or anything crazy. Like it just makes you look like almost unreal and real. Like I guess is the best way to explain it. Like you look like photoshopped in Facetune. Flawless.
Well, you've got it on right now.
Yes.
Well, she looks flawless, guys. I mean, you can see in the video if you're watching the video, but like, wow, it looks incredible. Okay, and you said in one of your YouTubes that people didn't actually expect you to bring out a beauty line.
Yes.
And that so what wasn't to say you were working on other things. So Nikita.
Yes.
Are we working on anything else?
I'm working on a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm working on a lot of things. I'm definitely that person that just like never likes to talk about things before they're out. Obviously, no one even knew I was doing a beauty line for this whole time. But for me, I think as a businesswoman, I've like really just worked really hard and found my strengths and my weaknesses, and you know, I've been able to cultivate such a great team around me, so I just feel like the sky's the limit in terms of what I can do. So for me, I just think it's all about creating and like really making things that truly I just want. And it sounds like narcissistic at the end of the day, but like really, like I made Dragon Beauty because I wanted these products that weren't out there. And so these are truly products that I use every single day that just like are cutting edge and the best and like what I expect. And so it's, you know, I just want to continue to make things that like I like. I mean, you know, like,
but that's it. If you like them and they weren't out there, then there's gonna be however many other people that are out there that need them and want them, and like, you know, so
and it's like I have my own specific style, you know, like, so there's just a lot of things that like I want to get into, whether it's fashion, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's whatever you see me on, just know that it's gonna be at a certain level. And I think that's the cool thing, that I'm able to bring that level of extra crazy wild Nikita Dragon that everyone like knows to everything that I do, because that's just who I am, and that's just what I want. Like, I'm not gonna do anything half-assed. Let's just say that. Let's just put that out there.
I already know you're not. Okay, so you've got your 2 holy grails here.
Yes.
Will there be anything else coming from Dragon Beauty?
Yes. A lot more, actually fairly soon.
Okay. Yeah. Give us an exclusive. What's happening?
Fairly soon. I mean, I will say, you know, just like look close to that, you know, before the year's up. Let me just take that. I'm not sure. I'm looking to my PR team over here. Like they're like squirming in their seats, and I'm like, they're like, shut up, Nikita. But I will say, you know, I'm a very busy girl. If we're talking about relationships, honey, I want to make more kids. I want to make more eggs, more eggs for the people. I feel like a lot of people want it. So. And I want it. So I want a full line, obviously, eventually. Amazing. But I think that I want to stick to the products that I just don't think that are out there, and the products that I want. Yeah. I think it's just always, you know, there's always like those eyeshadow palettes, bitch. We've seen those eyelashes. We've seen those. If I see one more damn lipstick collab, like, not even hating on anybody, but I'm just saying, like, everyone and their mother has collabed with a brand and doing something, and they're all beautiful. They're all gorgeous. I'm not macking on anyone, but I'm just saying, like, I like to do things different. So. Okay. I'm just gonna, you know, come out with some cool stuff. I'm
sure whatever you do will be very, very exciting.
Yes.
Now, big question. Standing where you are now, what advice would you give to young Nikita?
Oh, I was just cute. That was a good one.
I like that one. I was waiting for that one.
That was a good one. Damn.
Yes, a big one.
That's such a hard one. I feel like if I truly was like standing in presence of my like younger self, I think my younger self would just get it. Like, I think they would look at me and just be like, okay, you know, I got it. Like, I wouldn't, not even a word. Maybe it would be like a verb. It wouldn't even be like what I got to say. It's almost what I got to do. I feel like I would just look at myself and just be like, you know what? That's it. Like, it would be that simple. But I think if it really came down to it, I think I would just tell myself to like fucking keep going. Like it's just really that simple. It's like, it's crazy because again, I had such a really clear idea of who I was and who I wanted to be. And even with people telling me that I was never going to make it out of Virginia, or that I was never going to, you know, have my own fucking cosmetic line, that I would never be a woman first of all, that just, you know, everyone said I couldn't do a lot of things. And I've always had a rebellious spirit. So I don't know. I think that like, it's just I've always had a clear vision. So it's almost like, bitch, you got it. Like, that's why I'm saying, I don't even know if I would tell myself anything. I'm like, bitch, just look at me and know you'll get here. Okay. Like whatever you do.
I love it. I love it. And to anybody out there who may be struggling with who they are or what they want to do in life, where they want to go, what advice would you give?
I mean, it's so, I always say this in every interview that I do, like, and it's just like, like, I'm like, I feel like I'm like a broken record. Like, I'm like, I was like, accept yourself first and everyone else will follow. Like, I feel like I need to think of something else. But again, like for me in my life, I was just looking for acceptance from every single other person. I was looking for acceptance from, whether it be my friends or whether it be my mom, my dad, my brother, uncle, whatever. Like, you have to figure out who you are as a person before you try to like look for validation anywhere else. So like, for me, like I just had to realize who I wanted to be, who I was, and just had to be so strong in it that no one was ever going to change that. And I was allowing I think my biggest thing is just allowing myself to like dream, allowing myself to like have these crazy ideas, allowing myself to see myself famous or to see myself having my own brand. Like, I think a lot of people limit themselves and it's so sad. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, why would you ever want to be, I mean, if that's truly what you want, go ahead, girl. But like, why would you ever not want to be like doing what you really love, like your real passion? And it's like, yeah, it's risky. Yeah, you don't know the outcome, but it's like, at least you tried. Like, so just try. Like, that's just do it. Yeah.
Okay. And before you go, this is the final thing I'm going to ask you, Nikita. Can you show me how to pussy stunt?
Yes, bitch.
Let's sign off this podcast. The podcast is about to end. How can we do it? Can we do it on a bed? Can we?
Yeah, we could. Yeah? Listen, honey.
I mean, I'm
you can pussy stunt anywhere.
Okay, let's see this.
Okay, we're on a bed for those listening to the podcast.
Shall I move?
I don't know. I feel like it's more of like, if I was on a bed.
Wait, we've got a microphone here. I am gonna leave the podcast now. So
no, you have to pussy. No, bitch. You gotta stick right here. You're gonna pussy stunt with me.
I think I'll get fired.
Listen, pussy stunt is like normally like walking and things.
Shit. Okay.
But I feel like
Can I move this?
Yeah, I feel like if you were laying, it has to be very like, you have to just act so casual. Like,
I'm gonna pull these in a little bit. Okay.
You can pull these
in. Hold on. Should we get?
It's like laying, and like you can't ever look directly at the camera. It's always like you looking off. And a slight, like almost like a sleepy eye. Like it has to be like a sleepy eye, and you put a little bit of air in the back of your mouth, so it's like a pout.
I'm gonna get killed.
And then you have to do like your hair like with one hand, and you let it go.
Nikki, I can't do it.
Yeah, you have to. No, it's just like you have to. Okay, imagine you're so unbothered. Like you have to be so like, the world is waiting on me, like no one else. Okay. And it just is so like.
Can we get a countdown from someone? And we're just gonna do it.
Okay.
Someone give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
And then you give a little like.
I tried.
Over.
Oh shit! She did.
And then you're looking, and you're just like.
I mean, what an amazing way to end this podcast.
And then you're flipping your hair. Oh, shit. Oh, and you're like, oh my God, there's a camera here?
There's a camera? Like, there's someone watching me?
I never had to do a pussy stunt on a bed.
Nikki,
I do some other things with some, on a bed, but I'm a pussy stunt. I'm about to walk on this damn thing.
Okay, well, I think that was the best end to a podcast I've ever experienced. And I mean, I've just seen a pussy stunt in real life from Nikita Dragun.
Girl, wait till
wait
till I get up off these sheets, bitch. Let me tell you.
You're going to show me the real one. Okay, well, Nikita, thank you so much for making the time to come and join us on PLT Behind Closed Doors. I've wanted to have you here for such a long time. We've wanted to have you here.
Can I just also say to the PLT people that you are such a great interviewer. This was
my
such a magical experience, and I'm not just saying it to say it. You were really on.
Thank you so much. Like, that makes me emotional, honestly. I'm going to cry when it comes to another. Okay, it was so good to meet you.
Nice to meet
Come back again soon. We'll do something.
I will.
And to everybody listening, thank you so much for listening to the PLT Behind Closed Doors podcast. If you have enjoyed Nikita's episode, please make sure to subscribe and leave a review.
leave a fucking review.
You heard it, okay? We're going to sign off here. Thank you, Nikita.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for